Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Linda. On this channel, I share videos about sewing, pattern drafting, and every other thing in between. So on today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make this beautiful wrap dress you see right here on the screen. If this seems like what you're interested in, you might definitely want to hit the subscribe button and let's start. So guys, welcome back. The first thing I'm going to be doing is just go ahead and fold my fabric like you see me doing. I have about 2.5 yards of fabric and I am determining the wideness of the back piece using the hip circumference. And the first thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and measure the shoulder line, which is 8 inches, and then I'm just going to be taking the neckline with of about 2.5 inches because I am cutting directly on the fabric, so I need to do this. And also the depth of the neckline, I'm taking 1.5 because after I am done cutting it out and folding it, I'm going to be having 3 by 2. So I'll just go ahead and connect it like this with my curved ruler. After that, the next thing I'll do is just to go down by 1 inch at this point for the shoulder slope, and then I'll connect with my ruler into a straight line, also giving half of an inch for the joining allowance. After that, the next thing I'll be doing just to go down at this point for the armhole measurements. So I'm taking 8 inches for half of the armhole, and then I'm going to be connecting them into a straight line. And now I'm going to be taking the bust point measurement from this point. So I'll be placing my tape rule at this point, then I will take it downwards and mark 10 inches. Followed by the waistline measurements, which is a half length. I'll be marking 17 inches for me. And then my hip line is going to be 27 inches. After which I'll be drawing a straight line with my ruler to connect it. So now the next thing I'll do is just to go ahead and curve the armhole measurements. So I'll be taking my bust circumference divided by 4. Then I'll be marking it at this point. That will determine the curve of the armhole. I have 9.5 inches and I'm going to be marking that, okay? And next is just to go ahead and use my French curve to connect it into a curved line. This is going to be the back armhole. It is different from the front armhole. So I'll be using this to draft out the front before cutting out the front armhole. So now I'll be adding 2 inches for the stitching allowance. And then I'm going to be duplicating this on the bust line, which is the bust point line. So because it's almost the same thing around the bust, so I'll be taking down this measurement like so, and I'll be marking it also with my chalk line. Coming down to the waistline, I'll be measuring quarter of my waistline measurement, which is 7.5 at this point. Then I'm just going to be marking it like you see me doing, and also I'll be adding 2 inches for the general stitching allowance. And then at the hip line, I'll be adding quarter of my hip circumference, which is 41 divided by 4. I have about 10.25, and then I'll be marking that at this point as well, plus my sewing allowance. Then the next thing I'll do, just go ahead and take the length of my dress. So for the length, I'll be marking 37, which is deducted from the total length of about 41 inches. And after joining my gown to the pleats, I'm going to be having about 40 inches in total length of the gown. And now it's time to draft out the shape of the back piece, after which I'll be cutting it out. So guys, this is what I have. Now I'm going to be notching the center front at the neckline like so, and then I'll be notching the down part as well for the midpoint, and then at the waistline I'll be notching it as well just to give me a reference at that point. And now I have my back piece. I'm going to be using this to draft out the front. So I'll quickly go ahead and place another fabric and I'll be folding it a bit wider than the back. So if you check, you can see that my fabric are aligned in such a way that the front is going to be wider than the back. Okay, so because it's a wrap, I'm going to be measuring out about 5 inches at this point. You can go ahead and measure as wide as you want, but do not make it more than 5 inches. So I decided to go for 4 inches at that point for the wrap. Then I'll be using my ruler to extend the waistline on the front. This is going to give me a guide to draw out my wrap. Next, I'll draw a line from this point of the neckline down to the waistline. And by so doing, I'm just going to mark a chalk line like so. And then I'm going to be taking this aside. And then I'm going to be drawing a straight line from this point like so down to the waistline. Coming down to the lower part, I'm just going to measure 3 inches from this point inwards. So I'll be placing my tape rule like so, and I'll be marking that at this point, and then I'll flip this part open and connect it from the waistline with my curved ruler. Guys, when you're drafting this, ensure that your line is not straight. Just take your time to draft it well. You can as well use a free hand to get it right. So it's time to cut it out. I am basically going to trace out the front piece using the back. So you can see I have the same thing I have for the back around the sides. And I went ahead to mark my chalk line on the fabric to know the wrong side, and also I extended the waistline at this point. And now it's time to go ahead and shaping out the armhole for the front. Here is my back piece. I went ahead to open it up on the right side, and I'm going to be placing the 2 front piece on it, right side to right side, facing each other, and also I'll make sure to align it properly. And next thing I'll do is just to go ahead and stitch it at the shoulder line, and then I gave it a press. After I was done pressing, I went ahead to cut out the sleeve. I'll be attaching the sleeve, okay? So for the sleeve, I folded my fabric into 2 by 22 inches, and also I'm going to fold it one more time. This is going to give me about 11 inches. Next, I'm going to be measuring out the sleeve. So I'll go ahead and place my tape rule like this for the length of my sleeve, and then I'll be adding 1 inch at a point for the hemming allowance. So guys, if you inquire more about how to cut a basic sleeve, I have a tutorial on my channel on how to cut different kinds of sleeve, the basic sleeve in particular. So you can just go ahead and check it out on my channel. So I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit of it here. And if you don't understand, you can just go ahead and check it out on my channel. What I am doing right now is basically shaping out the back of the armhole, and I'm going to be connecting that into a slanted line. Now also go ahead and connect this into a curved line. And that is basically all about our sleeve. I'll just go ahead and cut it out right now. And also I'll go ahead and notch the midpoint of the sleeve. And this is our sleeve. I'll go ahead and trim out the front of the sleeve. First of all, I'll be pinning that down just to get it accurately. And then that is basically all for our sleeve. Next, I'll be attaching the sleeve, and I'll go ahead and open this part like so, and then place the sleeve, making sure to know which part goes for the back and which part goes for the front side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pin it down first of all, and I'll do the same thing for the other part as well before stitching them up. Now I've stitched up the sleeves, and this is how it looks like, okay? And next I'll just go ahead and double hem this part. I'll be folding it twice so that I can pass my elastic through there later on. So I am done with that. I'm just going to attach my elastic. So I'll be using my wrist measurements to know the right amount of elastic I need. So I've cut that out, and I'm just going to be using my safety pin to insert that. After I was done passing the elastic through the casing, I went ahead to secure it with my pin for now, and I'm just going to be removing my safety pin, and I'll be doing the same thing for the other sleeve as well. This is how it looks like. So now it's time to attach the 2 sides together. I'll be aligning these 2 side seams together, and I'll be stitching them at 1 inch because I don't want it so tight on my body. And now I have the sleeves and the sides of my dress all stitched up. I also went ahead to press it. I also didn't forget to hem the neckline, and I also gave it a nice press. And now we are done with the upper part, and it's time to work on the lower part. So next thing, I'll just go ahead and measure what I have for this part all the way around up until the other side, and I will go ahead and check what I have around there, and I have about 80 inches for that part. Next, I went ahead to cut out a long strip of fabric of about 205 inches long, and I have 80 inches times 4 there, so it's even more than 80 inches times 4. Let's just say it is up to about 5 yards and 28 inches long, which is almost 6 yards. I also went ahead to attach my stay on it. This is to give it a hold because I'm going to be making kissing pleats with it. folded a long strip of fabric into two equal half. I'm just going to press it and then I will be measuring what I have. I have about 5 inches there on fold, meaning that I have 10 inches width of fabric. I also went ahead to join leftover fabrics just to make up for the belt, and I'm going to be attaching my hairstay to it as well and then stitch it up. After I was done stitching it up, I went ahead to turn it inside out, and this is what I have. And then I'll be repeating the same thing for the other part of the belt as well. This is what I have after I was done with it, and I also went ahead to press it. Now I'm going to be attaching my pleats to the lower part, and I'm just going to be opening this up like this on the sides. And this is my long strip of fabric. I went ahead to close the both ends of the material, and then I'm going to be attaching them like this, giving it a kissing plate. But first of all, I'll be measuring 1.5 inch at this part for the belt, and then I'll be using my pin to secure that in place before attaching it. I'll be setting that aside, and now it's time to make my plates. I'll be using my pin as well to secure this part in place, and then I'll just go ahead and arrange it into kissing plates. While I was arranging that, I'll also ensure to pin it down as I go. I'll also go ahead and check what I have for the size of each plate. I have about 1.5 inches here, and I'll ensure to give others the same size of plates. After I was done gathering the plates, I decided to also go ahead and give it a nice press on the ironing board just to stabilize the plates. And it's turning out really nice. Guys, I'm loving the outcome. This is how beautiful it is after I was done. I also went ahead to top stitch on it on my machine, and then also make sure that I open up a little hole at the waistline like this so that I can be able to slide in my belt from there. I even did that on both sides of my side seam. It's totally a thing of choice. So I'm just arranging the outfit to look exactly like what I wanted it to look like, and here's the result of the dress. And I am basically rocking my dress. I'm feeling good in it, guys. I had to choose this color because I got confused on what color to pick for myself. Do you think I should have gone for black or the brown color for this dress? Don't forget to follow our pages on the screen so we can share more beautiful ideas. That is basically all for this tutorial, guys. If this video has been helpful to you, kindly give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. Also share this video and tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll see you guys in my next video.